Hi, I'm Antonio Sala, and in this video we are going to discuss proportional integral control tuning for a model of an unstable exponential growth of biomass in a bioreactor, a very simplified first-order model, and we'll first discuss it in an intuitive way via simulation, and in the second video we'll delve into the theoretical details. So, if we recall our bioreactor model, this was the open-loop model in time domain, and this was the open-loop model in Laplace transform domain, and the thing that multiplies the input u is the transfer function. We omitted the initial condition term in Laplace domain manipulations, but okay, that's what's usually done when analysis control, because our computations or simulations will start at 0, and then we will insert, let's say, a setpoint change or some disturbances. This open-loop model was unstable in the sense that with no manipulated input to stabilize it, time response was this exploding exponential towards infinity, but we can stabilize it with proportional control, and we can correct the steady-state error of proportional control with integral action. So let's first discuss how we do it, just by pure trial and error intuition, before delving into the theoretical details. We will fire my ad hoc PID control simulation app. I will load my model from workspace, and then if we tried proportional control, it was unstable with low gains, but with gain above 0.4, it started to be stable, and the higher the gain, the faster the transient, and the lower the steady-state error. But okay, we had some error, and somehow the transient cannot be made too fast because of saturation. So if I put a lot of gain, even if in theory my transient will be very fast and I will have low error, maybe this high frequency noise amplification is too large for me, because in practice, for instance, I would excite high frequency non-mobile dynamics in the sense that my valves take some time to open, there is turbulence and non-uniform concentration of things inside the reactor. No model is perfect, and my first-order model is a gross oversimplification of what's happening inside my reactor. So high gains may give me problems, or not. If they don't give any problem, I just switch to on-off control and we are finished. Perfect. But okay, if high gains are problematic, then I will decide to settle for a smaller gain, let's say 3.4, and first, without saturation, correct my error with a bit of integral action. So as you see, integral action slowly moves my control variable to the desired value, too slowly maybe with this integral action. So with this, let's say 0.45 integral action, then I get this correction. So in rise time is 1.5 seconds, but in 4 seconds I am at the right value. And again, for instance, in this second part of my transient, in which there is some input disturbance, it starts drifting, but there is a steady-state error on the proportional control, and that error is corrected with my integral action. If I increase my integral action, my correction is faster. Now I am correcting things in 2 seconds instead of 4 in here, but overshoot somehow increases a little because we are accumulating error in this first phase of my transient, and then if we accumulate too much, then we overshoot. But okay, if this is nice for me, then this would be the trial and error PI tuning that we will explain in theory. The thing is that in practice, we have to watch for high frequency noise amplification, that it's deemed sensibly correct here. And if we wish to diminish this overshoot, we can sort of apply setpoint preprocessing, deceiving the proportional part of my controller into thinking that setpoint is lower. So in this way we can diminish this overshoot without changing the disturbance rejection response. This is called 2 degree of freedom control. And even more without 2 degree of freedom control, if we saturate, then the initial part of the transient cannot move so fast, so we accumulate more error than theory predicts, so overshoot may be higher, so we need to apply some anti-windup tweaks to the integral action to avoid that. So with this anti-windup and setpoint preprocessing, we may tune a reasonable setpoint tracking and disturbance rejection response with a reasonably low high frequency signal activity, and then this would finish my practical PID tuning with 2 degree of freedom and anti-windup. But well, the theoretical details on 2 degree of freedom and anti-windup are out of the scope of this first introductory video. So our goal now will be removing saturation and removing 2 degree of freedom. Our goal will be to delve into the equations that justify this kind of response in order to better understand the theory behind this behavior and in order to design the proportional and integral gains with a sound theoretical methodology instead of trial and error as we did here. But okay, trial and error is important because that's the only way to tune regulators that non-university technicians know. Or perhaps, other management or engineering staff may not be familiar with the details of differential equations and Laplace transform, but you can explain proportional and integral actions in intuitive terms. So this is important in practice. But your examinations on control theory will delve with transfer functions and Laplace transform stuff. So let's dig into it. But in order to avoid a very long video, we will split the discussion in half. So with this quick, intuitive trial and error tuning, we'll finish this video and the theoretical analysis will be the subject of a continuation video. Thanks for watching.